All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Triple Threat Talk. I'm your host, Connor Ryan. Today's episode 24, RIP Kobe. I don't know why. Anyway, very special episode for you all today. Main thing will be the covering of the trade deadline. I know we talked about the Luka Doncic trade in the last episode, but in this one, we are going to go through the rest of them. There are some pretty big ones in here, and I'm just going to give my thoughts on them and might as well just kind of talk about what they mean and implications and stuff. Who do I think won each trade and everything like that. I have about 8 trades on here that I'm going to cover, and then I got 5 games that I'm going to go over from Tuesday and Wednesday night. I know the Celtics played tonight. I know they lost to the Mavericks. Klay Thompson isn't going to score 25 points every game, and neither Spencer Dinwiddie. And also, it's just Celtics turned over the ball too much. Shout out the bench for making it a close game, but, is what it is. 4-3 is the number to go 40-20. If they do, then I feel fine. But anyway, might as well dive straight into it. The main trade, though, I don't know why I said though. The main trade, post Luka Doncic, was Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. He was traded there in exchange for Dennis Schroeder going to Utah, but now he's in Detroit after I think KJ Martin and Josh Richardson are going to Utah, but I know Josh Richardson is getting waived. But Kyle Anderson, Andrew Wiggins, and a first-round pick are going to the Miami Heat. Now, a lot of people, especially on Warriors Twitter, were kind of making a big deal out of this trade. It's not really that much of a big deal. It doesn't really move the needle. It doesn't get them any closer to an NBA championship as it did when their roster, or how their roster was compared to before the Jimmy deal. Jonathan Kuminga still hurt. They are dealing with a bunch of injuries. And when you look at it, if they get into the playoffs, Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler will both be 35, and Steph Curry will be 37. I am very much in the proponent of, hey, age does play a factor. Like, for example, one of my good friends, Zach, he asked me, hey, would you trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant right now? And I said no, because I would rather have the 25 or 27-year-old than the 35 or 36, 37-year-old in KD. Now, is Kevin Durant an incredible player and one of the best scorers of all time? Absolutely. I'm not saying that he isn't, but I would rather have Jaylen Brown in that instance. Now, the saga of Jimmy Butler in Miami is officially over. It's been over for a little bit now, but this is the nail in the coffin. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. He is no longer going to be a member of the Miami Heat. So that kind of inevitably ends the Miami Heat-Boston Celtics rivalry. If you want to look at it from if Jimmy played, the Heat won that rivalry 2-1 with the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals, the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals, and the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals, in which 2020 and 23 were won by the Heat. And 2022 was won by the Celtics. But if you do want to include him just in terms of tenure, you would throw in the 2024 first round playoff matchup in which the Celtics did win, but Jimmy didn't play. Overall, my quick thoughts on it are, is he better than Andrew Wiggins? Sure. He's a more trustworthy shot creator. He's somebody that you can go to in late game situations and not be as worried in terms of the shot. He has that veteran poise. He has the veteran presence. But it doesn't really move the needle for me as much as it does for other people. The reason for that being, he's 35. His defense isn't as good as Andrew Wiggins. His overall shot-making ability, albeit okay, like solid, isn't great. If you get him from mid-range and in, then he's going to be pretty effective. But the moment you need him to take a 3, that isn't really where he's going to shine. We've seen him in the playoffs, like 2023, he was very good from 3, but he was very good throughout the entire playoff stretch. So I don't really think it's as much of a needle mover as people want it to be, especially Warriors fans, that is. Losing Andrew Wiggins hurts a lot. I don't really know, especially just because of the contract. I don't really know who else it could have been. Maybe a Jonathan Kuminga, if he's healthy, gets in that deal instead, but I don't think because of the contract, I don't think that works out either. A first to Miami is pretty big, and I think it's protected 1 through 10. So if the Warriors are like just miss out on the playoffs or they're like a play-in team, then Miami gets that pick, and that would be huge for them because then they'd have 2 first-round picks. Kyle Anderson, whatever. Dennis Schroeder, after his crazy comments about free agency, is now out of Golden State and then traded to Utah, and then the next day traded to Detroit. So he's been a part of 4 teams basically in a single year. So do I have a comment on what he said? No, not really, because that's just weird. But Jimmy Butler also did get an extension, 2 years. I think it's $111 million. My opinion with that is it's an extreme overpay. It really is. It's so interesting how an NBA contract is so much more different than any other contract because of the aspect, like, you do have the rare instances, a LeBron. That's really like the only true instance where it's like somebody in their late 30s is playing as good as they did or around the same level as you would say like 5 years ago. Jimmy Butler is not playing as good as he once was. And if you don't really realize that, then I think you kind of have to just open your eyes. Like, sure, the numbers might be present and say like, oh, he's only like 4 points down and he's only down 4 points per game. Like Tyler Hero is getting more of the usage. And it's like, well, yeah, I would hope players are getting higher usage numbers and higher shot totals when he's averaging like 18 a game and he's taking like 10 shots. Like, somebody has to take the shots. And so I think this trade is okay. I think it's fine. It doesn't really change anything on my opinion. It doesn't move the Heat up. It doesn't move the Warriors up, but it also doesn't push them down. It's a very equal trade, but for the Heat to get a first round pick, massive. I don't know the contract I think Andrew Wiggins signed an extension after the 2022 finals. And so I think most likely the Heat will probably have him for the rest of this year and then maybe next year. I'm not sure exactly. But maybe a change of scenery will help these people, help these players. But it makes sense of why it happened. Jimmy didn't want to be in Miami. Pat Riley didn't want to deal with it anymore. And now he gets to go play with the best player he's ever played with in Steph Curry. He doesn't have to be the number 1. He can be a clear number 2. And it's just super funny seeing NBA Twitter, just most media pages being like, are the Warriors going to go to the finals now? And it's just like, no, they're not. Like, calm down. No, like, be real, So, I think it's a good trade though for both sides. But yeah, next trade up, this one might be actually the most interesting. Brandon Ingram to the Raptors for Kelly Olynyk, Bruce Brown, a first and a second. First off, shout out to the Pelicans for getting a really solid package in return. Kelly Olynyk, solid big man, really good passing ability for a big man. Obviously not Jokic level, but like solid. Bruce Brown can hit shots pretty well, and a first and a second never hurt, never does. But what are the Raptors doing? Like, are they trying to, because very young team, like Scotty Barnes, Jakob Pertl, Emmanuel Quickly, I know I'm forgetting, RJ Barrett, that was the last one who I was thinking of. Like, those 3 guys, like specifically Scotty, Emmanuel, and RJ, all very young, very talented players. But then you kind of look at it and you're like, why is, like, you get Brandon Ingram, who's hurt still, so he won't be playing for a little bit. Like, why are you adding him? Like, you can tell the Pelicans are really just trying to reset the roster a little bit. They're trying to get more picks. They're trying to get as much build up for the future as possible moving forward, especially. And like, it seems like they're going to try and focus around like a Herb Jones, a DeJounte Murray, Zion Williamson, and then whoever they get with their picks this upcoming draft. So you kind of will say that and be like, all right, that makes sense. But why are the Raptors the ones to go for Brandon Ingram? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. It very much seems like it's something where they're like, oh, if nobody else is going to take him, we'll take him. And it's like, you don't need him. Like, you're not playing for a contender, So it is what it is. But in reality, like, it gives him a new landscape. I don't really think Scotty Barnes isn't a lethal 3-point shooter. Neither is RJ Barrett. Jakob Poeltl is a post player. Scotty Barnes is a post/mid-range player or a downhill player where doesn't really pull up from three that often, but will pull up from mid-range. And then you got Brandon Ingram, who's like an extremely talented, like, mid-range post player. So you almost like are wondering, like, how does this dynamic work? And I really can't imagine it right now. It's a weird roster. It's a talented roster, but it's still very, very weird. And could it work? Absolutely. Like, it can absolutely work. Will it though? I don't think so. I think we need to see how it goes next year just because of where the Raptors are this season. But like, how are you going to take up a contract like Brandon Ingram's, which, speaking of, I think I might as well, I'm going to look up his current contract situation on Spot Track and just see. Yeah, he signed a 5-year 158 with the Pelicans. Never mind. He's an unrestricted free agent at this upcoming summer. So that's probably why. I think they were just maybe trying to help out the Pelicans, but like, those were two teams that need a lot more than just this trade to help them. Maybe the Raptors are able to turn around and find themselves in a better position, but almost wouldn't you want to lose some games to maybe get a better pick, maybe get Cooper Flag? I don't know. But no, like, on paper, they have a much better roster than they actually are. Like, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl. That's a good 5. No doubt about it. It's just, there's not a lot of continuity within that entire set that really makes a lot of sense to me, at least. So, but no, it was just a very random trade, especially to get at like 11:40 at night. I was up and I was just like, all right, that's a trade that just happened. Okay, let's move on, I guess. So, and speaking of moving on, we're gonna go to the next trade. And this is arguably this and one that happened today being what was the actual trade deadline at 3:00. This is arguably the most impactful trade. Oh, actually, no, I'll preface what I was about to just say there after I talk about this. Mark Williams to the Lakers. He was traded from Charlotte for Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, an unprotected first-round pick in 2031, and a 2030 pick swap. Now, I will cover the Hornet side first. Getting Dalton Knecht, awesome, huge. You get another player who I think will really be able to develop a lot better than he would have in LA, especially with the amount of ball traffic that is going to be going through LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic. So he is really going to have this opportunity to kind of flourish a lot more with a true playmaking point guard. Obviously, LaMelo is a very good scorer and is a score first point guard, but he obviously has the numbers to dish out the assists as well, like, with no problem. And so with that, I think it will give him opportunities. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts. Like, we've seen how good he can be and the type of player that he is. We've seen the quality of talent that he can bring to a team like the Lakers. And so I think we're only just going to see it amplified even more in an offense that doesn't really get as much, he won't have as much pressure if he's like taking certain shots and everything like that. Especially under a young coach like Charles Lee, I think it will give him time to grow and kind of develop his tools more and more. And maybe down the road he goes to another team, goes to another contender. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. Cam Reddish, I think, is somebody who just needs an opportunity. I don't know if it will work. And I mean, it hasn't worked for the past couple of years, but he's still so young. I think he's like 24, 25. So you never know. And then getting an unprotected first round pick in 2031, you kind of just got to hope that ends up being like a lottery pick kind of thing. And then a 2030 pick swap, we shall see. But Mark Williams to the Lakers is obviously the main piece of this deal. This was in the best interest for Luka. I know that he vouched for this. That was the word I was more so looking for than best interest. He vouched for this trade because he is so effective with having a rim running big man. We saw how good Derek Lively was with Luka and his ability and Luka's ability to put the ball exactly where it needs to be on alley oops and pick and rolls and everything like that. And Mark Williams is really going to benefit from this. Now, the tough part with Mark Williams is his health. He has played only 84 games in the last 3 seasons since he's been drafted. A couple leg surgeries here and there. He's only played 22 games or played in 22 games this season. He has averaged about 15 and a half points, 11 rebounds, which is very good. Now, this is what I'm going to say, or what I was going to say earlier. I have a very bad time with analyzing stuff and instantly trying to point out the negatives. And it was just very much like I was watching the Celtics game and I was just like, man, like why are the Celtics losing? And I was the person that made the arguments a couple weeks ago. It's the NBA. Like after they lost to the Raptors in Toronto, it's like it's the NBA. Like these are really good players. Like if one team wins, it's like there are going to be like factors maybe saying like, oh, like turning over the ball too much, didn't shoot that great, like this person had an off night, like whatever it may be. Like the Lakers are a very good team, 100%. And adding Mark Williams is really going to like kind of fix that big man problem that they had. Is he the best defender? No, he isn't. Like Anthony Davis had a field day against him like last week. But the Lakers do seem like they're going to the approach of if we score more, if we just have a very good offensive day, we're going to be fine. So, no, I think it's a very good trade. I think it's great for them. They get the rim runner that they need. They get the big man that they need. You don't have to worry about Jackson Hayes being your number one guy on the defensive side of the ball, or in terms of the big man side of the ball. And very good screener, very good at catching in space and then making a decision when he's close to the basket. So I don't think Mark Williams will be able to sustain the numbers of like 15, 16 points and then 11 rebounds. But I would not be shocked at all even if he drops into single digits averages and points, I wouldn't be shocked if his rebounding numbers go up because of his reliability and like his ability, like just getting close to the basket, just catching it, turning it, and turning and looking and finding Luka, LeBron, or Austin Reeves as like a 3-lane system and setting up their offense. So this was a trade that needed to be done for the Lakers. I wouldn't have guessed it would have been Mark Williams. I honestly thought it was going to be more of a Rob Williams type thing, and I really wouldn't have enjoyed that because as a Celtics fan, it's just not great to see beloved Celtics players going to the Lakers. So I do think it is a very, very solid move for the Lakers. Now, does it put them into title contention instantly? I don't know. I'm gonna have to see the next like 2 weeks worth of games with Luka and LeBron. I think Luka's confirmed debut is on Monday or Sunday against the Jazz in LA. And so that will be very interesting to see. But I do think this is I do think this is an upgrade over Jackson Hayes for sure. And being able to get him like if you want to bring in that caliber of a big man, you got to take the understanding of, hey, like you win now, like you're going for the opportunity this year or next season. If Dalton Knecht becomes a top 10 player in the world, then shit, maybe it bites you in the ass, but I don't think he will. He has incredible scoring potential. He is a very good player. I just don't think it will work out. Not so much, I don't think it will work out, but I do think like this was the right move to make if you're the LA Lakers. And also just like same amount of picks as Luka for Mark Williams, so pretty interesting. Another Raptors trade, which another one that doesn't make sense, but it's very good for the Miami Heat. The Raptors traded Davion Mitchell to Miami for PJ Tucker, a second-round pick, and some cash. Davion Mitchell was originally on the Kings, very good player. Still is a very good player. He extremely defensive-minded guard. Not the best scorer in the world, but very solid. Like he is equivalent to like Marcus Sasser in my mind, but a better scorer. Like extremely defensive minded, can get you a bucket here and there. Point guard version of Avery Bradley. Not the person you want, like you trust completely to run your offense, but has solid shooting, can get you a bucket here and there, but you get him for the defense. Like, Miami has a collection of guys that can help run their offense. And if you go out there with a lineup of like Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, and Kel'el Ware, that's a really good lineup. Actually, no. I mean, the lineup would be, hypothetically, Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, Kel'el Ware. So I'm gonna say it. That's a solid roster. That's a pretty good team. Damn. That's a solid team. Now that I think about it. Oh my God. Wait. Am I in on the Heat? I've never said that before. Oh my God. It's because I like Tyler and Bam so much. Yeah. Oh my God. Am I in on the Heat? I slightly am. I am. I'm gonna say it. I'm slightly in on the Heat. That's a good team. But no, like getting Davion Mitchell for that price. PJ Tucker hasn't played a game all season. He hasn't really been with a team at all. And by the team, I mean the Clippers. And now he's going up to Toronto to go chill with those boys. So in reality, Davion Mitchell for a second round pick and some cash, that's a really good deal. So damn, shout out Pat Riley. Oh my God. This positive mindset thing really is working. But no, very honestly, pretty good trade for Miami. Next up, one of the funnier ones. Now, this is where I don't know how to say this guy's name, and that's the tough part. Sorry. Okay. Getting sidetracked here a little bit. Yusuf Nurkic was traded to the Charlotte Hornets with a 2026 first round pick for Cody Martin and I think Vasilije Micic. I don't know exactly how to say his last name, and a 2026 second round pick. This is just a funny trade because Yusuf Nurkic wanted out of Charlotte. Charlotte needed a big man, so they brought in Yusuf Nurkic, who, let's be real, isn't that great of a big man. But the real winner of this trade is the Hornets. Like, the Suns wanted Yusuf Nurkic out so badly. They wanted to get rid of him so fast that they were willing to give up their their 2026 first round pick. I'm currently looking up the Phoenix Suns first round picks for their upcoming drafts. They have a 2025 first round pick via Utah, Cleveland, or Minnesota. They have their own for this year. They just traded away their 2026. And then there's just like a bunch of others that have some stipulations. I don't know exactly. But yeah, like this year's pick, OKC can swap. Next year's pick, Washington can swap. 27, they have Houston's. Or no, that's just an outgoing pick. Like, I don't even know exactly. Like, the Phoenix Suns are really just running themselves into the ground as of late. Their report came out today that while they're very good at player acquisition, like they're very good, they have a very good scout team. It's the people in the building that are there that are extremely toxic, not very acquitted, and not very good with running that team. And I think we're seeing that firsthand. Like, there were reports all day today and even yesterday that Kevin Durant wasn't going to be on that team anymore. Like the Thunder, the Heat, the Grizzlies, the Warriors, just a bunch of teams. Like, I know that they were even Celtics talks because mainly just Celtics fans wanting him out just so they can get Jaylen Brown out of town, which still doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. But no, I think it's just an extremely funny trade. Now, Micic and Martin aren't nearly like Cody isn't as good as Caleb. He's okay. Micic, I've seen him play. He isn't great. He's extremely raw. He has more of the FIBA game under his belt, but he's still a prospect and extremely young. And a 2026 second round pick is all right. But the Hornets being able to get a 2026 first round pick and Yusuf Nurkic, who I'm currently looking up his contract right now, he signed a 4-year, $70 million with the Blazers back in 22-23, and so he'll be making 18 million and 19 million next year respectively, and so then he'll be an unrestricted free agent. So that's like a manageable contract to eat, especially with the fact of like it's not a Ben Simmons contract where it's like, oh, like this guy's nearly unplayable and he's worth $40 million. It's like, no, this guy is like, he's not a great center. He's not like an above it. He's just like an average center, but you needed a center because you traded away one for some prospects and a pick or two. And so with that, it kind of works out almost for the Hornets. So many wins for the Hornets, I'd say, but really funny that the Suns needed to give them a first rounder. So the Hornets would be like, yeah, sure, we'll deal with it, whatever. So coming up towards, actually, no, we have three more trades to talk about. This was the other one in relation to the Mark Williams one that I said would probably have the biggest impact. DeAndre Hunter was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers from the Atlanta Hawks for Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, and 3 second-round picks and 2 swaps. Now, DeAndre Hunter is, I think, in contention, not anymore at least, in contention for 6th man of the year. I think it now is pretty far and away Peyton Pritchard's award to lose at this point, unless Ty Jerome goes crazy, speaking of the Cavs. But, like, Karis LeVert has had an incredible season, or, like, has had a very good season. Georges Niang pisses me off, but it's fitting that his nickname is the minivan. 3 second-round picks and 2 swaps. So, with that, you kind of look at it and say, that's a lot to bring in for one player. DeAndre Hunter is a legit stud. He's a very good player. Out of Virginia, really good product. Having a career year for sure, coming off the bench, but now you kind of put him in more of that starting role. You allow players like Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro to kind of take that step back, Max Strus even, to take that step back and kind of be like, all right, we aren't really needed on the full tilt. We can kind of be in that flex position whenever it's like, maybe it's like okay, Dean Wade is going to run with the Mitchell and Mobley team where Strus and Okoro are going to run with the Garland and Allen team. Like, it's just going to work a little bit better. And then you can have like DeAndre Hunter play like a flex position in that where it's like half of each. So you have some more stability. DeAndre Hunter is a great player. Very good shooting, very good scoring, solid defensively. And I know like a lot of people are going to say like, oh, he's like meant to be brought in to stop Jason Tatum. And it's like, you can look at the stats and say like, oh, Jason Tatum's averaging like 27 points per game against DeAndre Hunter. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't like all these hypotheticals where it's like, oh, well, actually his 20 points per game will like, it's like, who cares? Like, we'll see it when we see it. And he's going to provide winning basketball for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers were already a threat to the Boston Celtics for being the best team in the East. They're currently still the best team in the East. And sure, the Celtics are 2-1 in the season series, but it's like the record states it that one of them is better in terms of record right now. And so with that, you kind of look at it and we'll say like, oh, does he really bring that much more than Karis LeVert and Georges Niang? Yes, he does. Because he was I think like the second leading scorer on the Hawks team behind Trae Young. Like, that's pretty good. Like, sure, it's like the production numbers won't be as good, but the usage numbers won't be as high, but the production numbers, if they're there, will probably be better because he doesn't have as much pressure to try and go out and score because he has 3 All-Stars in Jared Allen who will be able to support him along the way. Dean Wade can help him. Isaac Okoro can help him. Ty Jerome can help him. Like, that's just how this team is going to work. And they're for sure championship contenders. Like, I'm done with this whole, like, the Cavs or the Hawks. All right? No, like be real. The 2015 Hawks, like, Darius Garland is better than Jeff Teague. No offense to Jeff Teague. Shout out the boys on the pod. Donovan Mitchell is better than Kyle Korver. Andre Hunter is better than Damari Carroll. Like, Evan Mobley is better than Paul Millsap. And Jared Allen wasn't better than that point of Al Horford. But right now he's better than Al Horford, so that's something. But, like, that's a better 5 than the Hawks. They're going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Will they get swept by the Celtics? No, I think it's going to go to 6 or 7. Now, do I have the Celtics winning? Yes, because I'm a Celtics fan. Like, that's kind of the difference. But this is a good team, and they just added a very valuable asset to their team in order to help them get better. The second to last trade going to cover Bogdan Bogdanović was traded to the Clippers. Now, here's something I didn't really realize and was so curious about why people were saying that the Hawks fleeced themselves after getting like a solid return for the DeAndre Hunter thing. First off, didn't realize the Hawks were really selling that much at the deadline as much as they actually did. Second off, Terrence Mann and Bones Highland are worth Bogdan Bogdanović, a player who is better than both of them, and 3 second-round picks? I get it. It's not a first round pick. It's a second. Like, second round picks aren't always the most valuable thing in the world. But like, you traded a player who is better than the other two and players who can be as equal, if not better than the other two, for the two? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why are you trading that? Like, it's a trade that, like, that really kind of doesn't make sense. Bogdan Bogdanovic, very good 3-point shooter. When he is on, he is on. He is automatic, true microwave status. And getting him in an offense with Kawhi, Ivica Zubac, Norman Powell, James Harden, somebody who doesn't demand the ball that often, but when you need him to hit the shot, he will. That's what Bogey does. And bringing that in is super valuable to a team like the Clippers that are trying to make that extra bit of oomph and make that push to get a playoff spot and really try and like show like, hey, we're a good team. We're going to make a run. And for Terrence Mann and Bones Highland, really? Like, that's it? Like, that is a true moment of saying we are selling. We are giving away a player who promotes winning basketball, and we are giving away 3 possible players who could also promote winning basketball. Sure. Is every second round pick going to become Nikola Jokic? No. Is every second round pick going to become Manu or Isaiah Thomas or Draymond Green? No. But the Celtics have a second round pick, Jordan Walsh. And he's a very good defensive player, can hit threes from time to time. I just think second round picks are becoming so much more valuable because of the second apron and the rookie contracts. If you get a really talented second round pick, like good scorer second round pick, their value is going to go up, and then you can flip them, like whatever it may be. But that's just a bonehead move from the Hawks to make a trade like this, in my opinion, at least. Final trade: Jonas Valanciunas is he's already there, going to Sacramento for Sidy Cissoko and 2 second round picks. I think this really does help the situation in Sacramento. Evens out their offense, or evens out their lineup a lot more. Here's why. If you losing a player like Fox is extremely detrimental. But the good thing is when you have a player like Sabonis, it's similar to, like, he is baby Jokic in the way of like point forward, really good playmaking, can read the floor really well and get it to where you need to go. They needed another rebounder, so that's what Valanciunas brings. And also, it's like you kind of develop a more true identity with that team. You can bring Keegan Murray and Malik Monk off the bench. And if your starting lineup is Keon Ellis, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis in his true position of the 4, and Jonas Valanciunas, that's a lot more reliable than the lineup before, or than the lineup after losing Fox and before acquiring Valanciunas. Like, then you just had like 5 guys who were just like a modge podge, and you're like, all right, we're going to figure it out. Like, this brings a lot more structure to the team. Sidy Cissoko literally got traded to the Kings, I think, or no, he was in the Zach LaVine deal, and then he was traded elsewhere or something. I can't remember exactly, but 2 second round picks also helps out a lot. So, but yeah, those are the trades. All right, now we got 5 games to cover, 2 from Tuesday night and then 3 from Wednesday. First game up from Tuesday, the Boston Celtics defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 112-105. Big game, especially between the first and second place teams in the East at the moment. I think the Cavs had a 5.5 game lead on the Celtics going into, a 5.5 game lead on the Celtics going into this one, but the Celtics then cut it to 4.5. Jason Tatum led the way, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Rick White, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Kristaps Porzingis, 19.7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Jaylen Brown, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. For the Cavs, 31 points, or Donovan Mitchell, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. Jared Allen, 17 points, 18 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Darius Garland, 25 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steals. The big takeaway from this game, and it has been for the entirety of the Celtics 4-game winning streak, was the presence of Derek White. If Derek White plays to the level that he should be, then the Celtics are going to be A-okay. The Celtics go as Derek White goes. He is that third level. He's that dimension that a lot of people will kind of almost leave behind, because you look at the team and you say, all right, we have to worry about Jason Tatum. We're going to have to double him from time to time. Jaylen Brown, we obviously know the capabilities that he has as a player. And Kristaps Porzingis is a 7-2 unicorn. But Derek White is the X factor. not only just because of his defense from time to time, or most of the time, but it is his shooting ability. When he's got that pocket full of threes right here on that hip, you know that he is going to have, he's going to give the other team problems. He really does balance out the floor for the Celtics. He really does bring that extra level for them, just in regards of the dynamic of the team. He really is so impactful, so important to succeeding as a team. He spaces the floor so well. He's able to slow down the offense. He's able to get things under control and not just force up a tough shot. He's able to get to the lane and penetrate the defense and get an easy floater or get a layup. Obviously, the defense is what he's obviously known for, one of the best shot blocking guards of all time, especially for his size. But it's when he is providing on offense, that's when the Celtics really are the Boston Celtics. Like, Kristaps is obviously will have a game or two where he's just like is a matchup nightmare. Tatum can obviously go off for 30, same with Brown. But when Derek White is consistently averaging about 20 points a game, that's when the Celtics are really going to be a problem. For the Cavs, the Cavs are still really good. Like, I don't want that to go unnoticed. They are the best. They're currently the best record in the East. Do I think they're the best team in the East? No, I would still give that to the Boston Celtics. But still, Donovan Mitchell kills the Celtics every time. He is second all time in points per game against the Celtics with 30.3 over 20 games in his career. First place is Michael Jordan with 30.7. So literally is a 35-point game away from passing Jordan probably. Jared Allen was not extremely, but he was slow to start the game, except just grabbing a ton of boards. And then he came in and got a ton of putbacks, putback layups, putback dunks, and really helped keep that game close for the Cavs. And then Darius Garland had very much an off night. He wasn't as effective as he usually has been this season. But with the Cavs and with the Celtics, very similar identities, high pace, high octane offenses, going to shoot the lights out. And their defense, if their defense is up to par, then they're going to give the other team problems. I really do want this to be the Eastern Conference Finals. I know that as a Celtics fan, I almost shouldn't say that because I should be like, oh, I'd rather face the harder team, or I'd rather face the easier team but the Cavs and Celtics are such a good matchup. I remember when I was a kid, seeing LeBron in the Cavs uniform, seeing Garnett, Pierce, and Allen go up against him. Like, those were the matchups I always wanted to see. And I wouldn't mind seeing it again, because very similar style teams, very similar builds. Kenny Atkinson has done an incredible job with that team, and they deserve their flowers, and I think they get them if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So shout out the Cavs, but Celtics take round 3. I think it's literally like a week after the All-Star break. They play for the 4th and final time in the regular season. So the Celtics will be seeing them real soon. So a final game, or second game from Tuesday, the Los Angeles Lakers will blow out the Los Angeles Clippers in Intuit Dome, 122-97. LeBron James, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals. Austin Reeves, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Rui Hachimura, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. And Derek Jones Jr., and for the Clippers, Derek Jones Jr., 17 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And Norman Powell, 20 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Other than that, not really great nights for the Clippers. The Lakers are playing at a very good pace right now. They are one of the better teams in the NBA as of late. I think they, before the Clippers game, I want to say they went 12-2 over the last 14. So now they're 14-2 over the last 16. I know they're playing right now against the Warriors. The Lakers are up 9. And the Blazers are up 2. There you go. By the way, shout out the Blazers for 9-10, winning 9 of the last 10, and currently on the NBA's longest win streak of 5. Blazers are hot. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they're doing well. But if the Lakers continue to play like this, you add in Mark Williams, you add in Luka, then yeah, maybe the finals contention talks are a little bit fair. It would just be, I think it would just the NBA would just love to see Lakers Celtics, just another Lakers Celtics finals. I would love to see it. I think it would just be a really good matchup, especially LeBron versus the Celtics in the finals. That'd be pretty cool. But when they as a team, like when they get these games in which like they shoot really well, like 56% from the field, 49% from three. Um, Clippers didn't shoot well at all, so obviously like you can sit there and say like that's the reason. But Dalton Knecht had 14, Gabe Vincent had 12. Like they only had two guys shoot under 50% from the field, and it was Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent, but Gabe Vincent shot 50% from three. So I mean, if they're gonna continue to play like that, then yeah, like the Lakers are definitely contenders and a team that wouldn't be fun to face and a team to watch out for. For the Clippers, I mean, just bad offense all night, just not the best performances. I do think though, adding Bogdanovic really will help them. But I'm a huge fan of this Clippers team. Kawhi Leonard obviously has been one of my favorite players for a very long time. James Harden has really revitalized himself as a really good playmaker. Ivica Zubac will be getting a big contract coming up soon. Amir Coffey is solid. Derrick Jones Jr. is solid. Norman Powell has really showed that, like, hey, I can step into that role even when we lose somebody like a Paul George. And they have a really good fan base with the Intuit Dome. Steve Ballmer really believes in that team and he's investing in that team, which gets you the most out of your players as well. And I think that just speaks volumes to the owner that he is. So shout out the Clippers, man. 3 games on Wednesday. First up, the Cavs defeating the Pistons 118 to 115. I know I just talked about the Cavs, but I feel like this had some valid reasonings. Evan Mobley led the way, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 blocks. Darius Garland, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and Jared Allen, 6 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. Darius Garland with a crazy, damn near half-court shot game winner. This is back-to-back years of like extremely long game-winning shots for the Cavs. I remember last year, Max Strus had the heater fourth quarter that he did against the Mavericks and just went absolutely ballistic from 3 and proceeded to end up having a really just like unreal quarter and then hits like a 57 footer to win the game. This wasn't 57 feet, but it was, I think, about 40 feet for Darius Garland. Cap off like a really good fourth quarter for him. And I think he had like 17 points in the quarter. So shout out Garland. Evan Mobley, when he has games like these, it's just really impressive. Like just crazy good, crazy athletic, and just really skilled for the big man that he is. I saw a podcast clip of somebody being like, somebody was making a really good comp of Evan Mobley as like a baby AD, and somebody instantly tried shutting it down. And he's like, I didn't say he was AD. I'm just saying he has skill qualities of Anthony Davis. And the guy was like, oh man, you're fucking crazy, like everything like that. And he's like, you're just not listening to what I'm saying. So I mean, the Cavs are legit. I know I mean, if you need reasons why, go listen to what I just talked about in the Celtics game. So for the Pistons, though, Cade Cunningham, 38 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 steals. Wow, really good game. Asar Thompson, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and Tim Hardaway Jr., 20 points and 3 rebounds. I made a clip in regards to Cade and his shot making. It wasn't so much can he get the shot making of SGA, it's more so can he even up the field goal percentages. Like, you're scoring 38 points, which is absurdly good. I'm not denying that. You score 38 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 steals. You did it on 30 shot attempts. If you have 29, he went 3 of 10 from 3, 13 of 13 from the line. Don't have an issue with that. 1 turnover, great. But if you even that out, if you take away some of those 3s and instantly make those 2s, I'm fine with the shot attempt totals because there's nobody else on that team that is really as good of a shot creator and a shot maker on that team as Cade Cunningham is. Obviously, you could say Jaden Ivey, but he's out for the year with a fractured fibula. But if you turn some of those 3s into 2s, that's an easy 40 ball and you win that game. Like, not everybody has to be a 3-point shooter. Like, sure, it helps. And if you're like really, if like you have a high rate of it, then sure, that's fine. But it's like 3 of 10 isn't great from 3 when you went 8 of 19 from the field anyway, like from 2, which also isn't great, but like that's what I more so mean. If he has the consistency of making shots, then that's where he becomes a really big problem. But other than that, like, Cade is legit. I know that they're bringing in some players like Dennis Schroeder. I think will help them like with their offense. I think he'll be able to develop Cade into a better playmaker, even though he already is a really good one. But like, kind of just show him some more of the ropes, in kind of that manner. But I mean, the Pistons are a lot of fun to watch. Jalen Duren is a very good ball player. Malik Beasley didn't have the best night. Fontecchio didn't have the best night. Tobias Harris didn't have that great of a night. But it also got evened out. The Cavs didn't have Donovan Mitchell, so Max Strus wasn't very efficient. Like, Karis LeVert wasn't efficient at all. He was 0 of 8. So the water will always find its level. But that's more so what I meant when I mean Cade, you get what I mean. Arguably the most anticipating matchup of the night, the San Antonio Spurs facing off against the Atlanta Hawks. Reports came out today that the San Antonio Spurs were looking to make Trae Young the running mate with Victor Wembanyama, but that fell through, and inevitably it was De'Aaron Fox that became the new point guard for the San Antonio Spurs. And I love it. I think it's a really good duo between those two guys. I think they will be able to balance each other out really well. When, like, De'Aaron Fox has the ability to get to the lane, and he also can stop on a dime and make some pull-up shots really easily. Victor Wembanyama is very much I can shoot it from about 24 feet and out, or I will get to my spot within like 10 feet or in. And De'Aaron Fox kind of fills out the 10 to 24 range really well. So they win in the debut 126 to 125. Really tight contest at the end of it, but by the end of the first half, I think the Spurs had like a 16-point lead, but De'Aaron Fox led the way, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists, and 3 steals. Victor Wembanyama, 24 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and I'm just double-checking this, only 1 block, so that's pretty interesting. Devin Vassell, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Spurs are a good team. They really are. I think, and I know they have 4 draft picks. Or no, that's the Nets. Sorry. I think they have like 2 draft picks coming up. Maybe 2. At least 1. I know they have some draft picks coming up, and I think that's really going to help them kind of find more of that young talent, especially with like having players on the team like a Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama. You're able to build that team up together. That's going to be huge. For the Atlanta Hawks, Onyeka Okongwu, 30 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Dyson Daniels, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. DeAndre Hunter, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. And Trae Young, 32 points, 2 rebounds, 12 assists. Losing Jalen Johnson for the year really hurts, obviously. And I think that's kind of why they're going into sell mode, because they don't want to lose Daniels. They don't want to lose Young. They don't want to lose Johnson. They don't want to lose Okongwu and kind of some of these other guys. I think they're willing to move on from Hunter just because of the deal that they got, like getting 2 players like Karis LeVert and Georges Niang, and then also getting like some other like 3rd round pick, like some 2nd round picks and 3 2nd round picks. In fact, I think that's where you're able to kind of look at it and say like, oh, it makes sense. I also think DeAndre Hunter is just coming up on a big contract year, so I think that's also kind of the other issue. But like, the Hawks are good. It's just like they lose one of their most dynamic scorers in Johnson. Now they're losing Hunter. So really your offense, you're relying on 3 guys primarily in Okongwu, Daniels, and Young. And it's not like Dyson Daniels is the most polished scorer. It's not like Onyeka Okongwu is going to shoot 80% from the field every night. And I mean, even Trae Young shot pretty effectively from the field at 48%. So the Hawks are definitely going to be taking a downturn, in my opinion. And I would love to face them in the playoffs, I'm going to be honest. But it's just how it is. Final game from Wednesday, and we're going to wrap this up afterwards. The Oklahoma City Thunder defeated the Phoenix Suns 140 to 109. Oklahoma City, SGA, 50 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. His 3rd 50-point game in 3 weeks, his 2nd in the last 7. I didn't realize this. He's had 3 straight Wednesdays with 50-point games. So that's a pretty cool fact. Aaron Wiggins, 17.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and J-Dub, Jalen Williams, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. For the Suns, Bradley Beal, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Royce O'Neal, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and Devin Booker, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. The Thunder got their deadline acquisition. Chet Holmgren is back and he is healthy. That is huge. We haven't seen Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein playing together. We saw them in preseason, and their offensive rating together when they're on the court together is 54.7. That is ridiculous. If you thought the best defense in the league couldn't get any better, they bring in a 7-1 freak who can guard 1 through 5 pretty effectively, and I think is really going to help with the spacing as well. He's also has the ability to be a knockdown shooter. Will it take some time? Yes, but they're 40-9. Like, they have the time. They're not going to rush into, Chet, you need to do this. So they're going to be fine. This game, though, was so interesting because of the fact that I was watching it and I started tuning in midway-ish through the second quarter. The Suns had like a 10-point lead. And then I looked, oh, it's halftime. They're only up 2. And then I looked again. Thunder up like 4. And then I looked again. They're up 10. Oh, I looked again. They're up 20, 30. Like, it just skyrocketed real quick. And that's what happens when you have a really good team and you're like on a roll. You find this momentum, you get to the spots that you need to be, and you get really good really quick. I know the Suns were without KD in this one, and I know that's kind of what led to the speculations of, will Kevin Durant be traded? But the Suns are in a tough spot. They don't have much draft capital. They're down for the next like couple years. And now it's like, what do you do with Book? What do you do with Durant? What do you do with Beal? Like, you had the opportunity to try and move Beal, but Beal didn't want to be moved. Then you hear the rumors of KD wanting to be moved. You have this cancer in your locker room. That's Yusuf Nurkic. Like, there's just a bunch of stuff going on with the Suns. Will it work out? I think so. I don't know, but we shall see. That is the episode for you all tonight. I hope you have a great one. We will be back next Tuesday for episode 25 of Triple Threat Talk. If you enjoy this, please like, follow, comment, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you're listening, whether it be on YouTube or Spotify. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. If you're looking for more, Instagram at Talkin' Triple, X at Talkin' Triple, TikTok at Triple Threat Talk 0. Please go give me a follow. Leave me some comments. I'm going to start posting more. I know I've been slacking as of late. Just things get busy. I'm trying to find a job, man. By the way, hey, if you got a job for a recent college graduate with a theater major, let me know. Shameless plug there. But yeah, today's player is Luke Longley. I know it's an old school one, but might as well. But yeah, that's the episode. I love you all. I will see you all next Tuesday for episode 25. Peace.